Video title: Captain Trevor's Journey Through the Hanging Monasteries of Meteora, Greece. Script: if you ever find yourself in Greece, there's a place that looks like it was taken straight out of a fantasy movie. The monasteries of Meteora. Towering on giant stone pillars above the plain, these monasteries seem to float between earth and sky. But what's the story behind them, and why were they built in such an impossible place? Today, let's explore how monks built homes on top of these vertical cliffs and what daily life is like in a monastery that hangs over a valley. Meteora means suspended in the air, and that's exactly what these monasteries are. About 6 centuries ago, monks seeking solitude climbed up massive sandstone towers and created tiny communities on their summits. Reaching them wasn't easy. They used rope ladders, nets, and later carved stairways directly into the rock. The result? One of the most breathtaking places on Earth, where ancient faith, isolation, and sheer determination literally touch the sky. Visitors today can hike around the rocks, see monasteries perched on pinnacles, and learn how this UNESCO World Heritage Site became a symbol of devotion and survival. It's a story of religion, architecture, history, and the incredible human effort required to live on top of the world. Along the way, we'll discover dramatic landscapes, centuries-old monasteries, and the spiritual legacy that still draws travelers from across the globe. So imagine waking up before dawn, walking beneath enormous stone formations, and then seeing monasteries balanced on columns above the clouds. As the sun rises over Thessaly, the rocks glow orange, mist fills the valley, and the silence of the monasteries starts to make sense. It's peaceful, surreal, and surprisingly inspiring, like stepping into another world while hearing bells echo off the cliffs. You'll hear the wind through the valley, birds flying below, and church bells ringing from the sky-high monasteries. Locals in nearby Kalambaka will tell you stories about hermits, monks, and miraculous rescues from invading armies. Historically, these monasteries offered protection from wars and political upheaval, but today they mainly offer wonder and a stunning view. We'll talk about the Byzantine monks who first settled here, Ottoman times when access was restricted, and modern tourism that transformed the region. Some of these monasteries date back to the 14th century, others were expanded later, and many were abandoned, restored, or inhabited continuously through the centuries. There are legends about hidden ropes, baskets hauled up by hand, and supplies carried by donkeys or winches. If you've seen photos, you know the cliffs look vertical, but the rock itself is actually layered and weathered into impossible shapes. Those crazy-looking towers are made from natural rock pillars. Builders didn't stack bricks. They carved the mountain itself into freestanding columns. No mortar, no steel beams, just solid stone, shaped by erosion and human hands. From below, the monasteries seem unreachable, almost like bird nests hanging on the cliffs. Up close, they're even more impressive. Staircases are cut into the rock face, doors and windows hang over empty space, and entire chapels cling to the precipice. Inside, you'll find chapels, living quarters, and breathtaking viewpoints where monks once prayed, worked, and watched the world go by. Life there wasn't just prayer and solitude. Monks copied manuscripts, farmed small gardens, and developed systems for survival in extreme conditions. They prayed, studied, cooked, stored food, collected rainwater, and even hoisted themselves up and down with primitive pulley systems. Everything had to be managed carefully because there was no easy way to get food, water, or wood to the top. And because the weather could be brutal, they had ingenious ways to harvest rainwater and transport supplies. They also built cisterns, bridges, and storage rooms, adapting to changing empires and difficult winters. Over time, the communities evolved, adding refectories, kitchens, and more comfortable dwellings while preserving old traditions. Today, many monks are gone, but the monasteries remain active and can still be visited. Some are museums, some still function as monasteries, and others host nuns or clergy who welcome guests. Whether you're religious or not, standing on a cliff with a 360-degree view has a way of putting life into perspective. If all of this sounds fascinating, stick around, because Meteora is more than just beautiful scenery. It's a reminder that humans have always searched for meaning in hard places. And sometimes, the most incredible places on Earth come from people doing unbelievably difficult things just to be closer to what they believe in. That determination is something we can all relate to on some level. People climb mountains for many reasons: adventure, faith, challenge, or simply curiosity. Sometimes it's the journey itself, not the destination, that changes how we see the world. So let's take in the view, learn the history, and appreciate the remarkable ingenuity behind Meteora. Because once you know how it all came to be, every photo feels even more magical. Ready? Let's go. Near the end of your visit, you realize Meteora isn't only about ancient rocks or old buildings. It's also about silence, spirituality, and the deep sense of awe that comes from being in such a place. Maybe that's why so many people say it feels unreal, as if time slows down when you're surrounded by those cliffs. And maybe that's the secret. Places like this remind us how vast, ancient, and mysterious our world really is. In the end, Meteora teaches that even the most impossible landscapes were shaped by ordinary people with extraordinary vision. Perhaps that's what makes travel so powerful. It shows what humans can build when driven by belief, necessity, and hope. If you stay until sunset, you might catch golden light spilling across the valley and turning the cliffs into something unforgettable. By nightfall, the rocks glow under the stars, the monasteries light up dramatically, and everything feels almost dreamlike. And when you leave, you're left with a sense of wonder, and maybe a little courage too. So next time you see a mountain, think of the people who climbed it not for conquest, but for peace. Sometimes the highest places are not where battles happen, but where souls seek quiet. And maybe, just maybe, the path to heaven really does begin on earth.